MohawkValleyLiving.com.
The Mohawk Valley. Let's see.
It's time for the Cooper Group's road trip to Holland Patent. We stop by Copper City Chrysler Jeep Dodge, where CJ has a new 2007 Jeep Compass warmed up for us. Holland Patent was once known as Public Square, and the village square still remains a focus and symbol of Holland Patent. In 1997, the village celebrated its bicentennial, and this event renewed the community's pride in its historical and architectural character. Part of that pride can be seen in the restoration of the train depot. In 1857, the railroad system connected Utica and Boonville through Holland Patent. Today, the depot is part of the Adirondack Scenic Railroad Tours.
For our road trip today, we drove here to the railroad station in Holland Patent. Now, for many, many years, this is the only way that people could get here to Holland Patent, by railroad. And this one is loaded with history. When we arrived here today, we were greeted by an entourage of people who were happy to see Mohawk Valley living in their village. Ironically, it was unlike another visitor who came here back in the 1900s who didn't have that kind of greeting. And as a matter of fact, he was a president of the United States. He was the only president to serve 2 terms which were not consecutive. It was during his second term that he came, and it's President Grover Cleveland. He arrived here with his wife, Frances, and because they came so very early in the morning, I guess it was sometime around 5 o'clock in the morning, there was nobody here. So the president and his wife, they were going to visit his sister Rose, who lived here in Holland Patent. They went there by themselves. They carried their own baggage. There was no security. They just walked the streets of Holland Patent to visit his sister.
Oh, it was put here long before me, back in the 1800s. But I remember, I've always lived in Holland Patent, and back in the 60s when I was 10, 11 years old, I used to come down here. It actually was a functioning train station. The New York Central train used to stop here. It was heated by a potbelly stove, and I used to hang out here and help the station master, help him by, he always had me doing mopping the floors and things like that, but I had a lot of fun down here. We acquired the depot in the early 2000s, and actually it was dedicated by the Lieutenant Governor, Mary Donahue, on May 14th, 2003. We acquired it, we started working on it after 1998. We had our bicentennial, and it was a laundromat that had gone bankrupt, and it was actually just about ready to fall down, so we wanted to do something with it, so we acquired it. We had it put on the National Register, got some grants, and we restored it to the condition that you see it's in today. The Adirondack Railroad actually uses this as one of their stops. They have the trains run from Memorial Day until Columbus Day, and then they do special Christmas and Halloween trains, but they actually stop here in Holland Patent on their way up to, they go as far as Thunder up in Old Forge area. This is the North Pole for the Polar Expressway.
Back in the 1900s, you could take the train all the way from Utica to Lake Placid. We couldn't find what it cost, but we did find this little book that tells us something about the hotels in the area. Had you come to a hotel and stayed here in Holland Patent on your way, it would have cost you probably the phenomenal sum of $1 a night. Also, while you're here, and you can visit Monday through Thursday in the morning, and it's worth the trip to do that. Take a look at the conference room, because that used to be the baggage room, and the windows are the areas where they used to load the baggage on and off of the trains, and the shutters, the original shutters, are still there.
I've always lived in Holland Patent, and I love Holland Patent, and we're trying to retain the historical flavor of Holland Patent, and this has really added a lot to the village. It's become the center of the village activity. There's a lot of things go on in this depot, and it was an eyesore, and now it's an asset to our community.
Grover Cleveland was a bachelor during his first term, and therefore his sister Rose at that time was the first lady. And as a matter of fact, if you come here to the village of Holland Patent and visit the cemetery, you will find that Grover Cleveland's parents are buried there. I'm at the Cleveland gravesite here at the Holland Patent Cemetery at the top of a hill. On the one side, there's reference to Rose, who was Grover's sister. She died in Italy. On the other side are his 2 brothers who went down at sea. They're not buried here, but his mother and father are. You have to be a real hiker to get up here though in the wintertime, follow the deer tracks, or be lucky enough to get someone like we did, Ed Wardner, who he blazed the trail for us and led us up here.
Back home. Just trying to find my way back home. Just trying to
I'm standing behind Adirondack Bank here in Holland Patent, and over in the corner, hidden away, is one of the pillars from an original building going back to 1797. That's what, 210 years ago. It was called the DeAngelis Tavern. The interesting bit of history with Mr. DeAngelis is the fact that he was a flag carrier on a ship that was captained by none other than Benedict Arnold.
Soon after the completion of his tavern, DeAngelis built his family's home in 1800. Many people know of it today as Holland Patent's Big Yellow House.
Oneida County Rural Telephone has some 3,600 customers. Now they have 3,601. Tyler, welcome.
This company was formed in originally 1904, and in 1905 it was incorporated. As I just indicated, last year we celebrated our 100th anniversary. Okay. I don't know how you would say we're unique. We're kind of a survivor. Many of the small companies have gone by the ways of just closing up in recent years. And in the past, we'd survived by doing we have a slogan, a little more and a little better. We're asking each person here to do a little more and a little better than the next person.
I just got a call. It is official. Oh, before I go there, do you realize that every one of these is a separate telephone line, and there are several thousand of them here? Well, I've just found out that at the present time, through all of these wires, there are some 1,024 calls going on right now at the same time, and I can't understand a word they're saying.
I do think I hear Richard's stomach talking, so we head just northeast of Holland Patent to Mappa Ave in Barneveld and Sweet Basil.
Well, me and my wife started about 7 years ago. We took it over from another couple that had it. Well, my wife's been interested in it for a long time, and we happened to see it in the paper for lease. So we took the time, came down and checked it out, and we had it within a week of that time. Quaint little town. All the people like coming here. You know, we give them good product, and they like the prices. You know, and we enjoy it. You know what I mean? We got to do something in life, so you might as well do something you enjoy. And we found that we enjoy this, so that's what we do.
The Sweet Basil is operated by a husband and wife team. You've already met the husband half of it. The wife half is Debbie. But the husband half, Richard Fitzsimmons, goes by the name Richie Fitty. So when you find something on the menu called Fitty, it's named after him. I took his advice and I had the French toast and the Eggs Benedict, and he's absolutely correct when he says that it's in the eggs, because the eggs in that the Eggs Benedict were absolutely perfect. When you come here though, check out the coffee cups, because there are hundreds of different coffee cups, and mine is for Checker Cab Company. So I thought I would call that number because I didn't know where they were, 615 something or other. So I called the number on my cell phone, which you can try with the other coffee cups if they have phone numbers on it. And I got hooked up to Nashville, Tennessee. And the guy down there told me his weather was a little bit warmer than ours.